to our new segment, which we'll be doing once a week moving forward from now on. It's called 2 Minute Tech, Dan?
Mm-hmm.
2 Minute Tech. There you go. Dan came up with the name, so that's why I don't remember it. But we thought it would be great for us to kind of introduce different features from various different motorcycle kit across different brands, but things to look out for when you're buying. And so it's a nice, easy 2-minute watch, 2 to 5 minute watch, so it might not always be 2 minutes. But this week we're going to be talking about pin locks in your visors. So we often sell helmets to new riders and they're not really aware of what pin locks are, so we thought it would be a great thing to discuss and kind of explain the benefits of. So in essence, so this is a visor from Dan Shoei, of all things. And so traditionally with a visor, what you'll find when you're riding, when you're stationary or when you get to a set of traffic lights, for example, your breath will fog up the visor. And so to combat that, most helmets, I'd say 99% of helmets, at least in the modern market, have been pre-prepared with Pinlock pins, which are these pins that you'll see on either side of the visor. Now, what they're there for is, there's a third-party company, and there is other companies as well, but the biggest and most well-known in the world is Pinlock, and they provide essentially double glazing for your visor. So they give you a second flexible screen that mounts within these pins with a tension fit. And this secondary screen has been kind of pre-tuned for optics, so it makes visibility fantastic and it doesn't mess with kind of how you see through your visor. But what it does is it has a silicone seal all the way around the outside edge, so I don't know if you can see it there, but it has a silicone seal all the way around the outside edge. And that silicone seal will form a contact with the outer visor itself, and it will basically, like I said, act as double glazing. The beauty of it is then that, as you know, your traditional double glazing at home, it won't fog up because it creates a seal, and there's like almost like a pocket of air between the Pinlock and the visor outside itself, and that, I think it regulates the temperature or stops the moisture or condensation from forming within, in between that barrier, basically. So that's the Pinlock. They generally retail from like 25 to 30 pounds. Most medium to high spec helmets and now some budget helmets also come with them. It's worth noting with Pinlocks, they are a perishable item. So the seal, as I mentioned before, is silicone. And as we're riding out and about on the roads, the air pollution, dust, grime, oils will slowly degrade that silicone over time, and therefore the seal will not be as good as it was when new, and therefore you'll start to find after a period of, depending on how often you ride, after a period of 6 months to a year, you'll start to find fogging in the edges or in parts where the seal's starting to break down. When that happens, you've got two options. You can try and adjust the Pinlock to kind of tighten that seal, and you can do that with many different ways. So again, this is brand specific, so Shoei have a tool of their own which they use, but to be fair, you can just use your finger and give it a slight twist, and the twist, what it does is it makes small micro adjustments to make the distance between the two pins smaller or greater. And so as you make it smaller, it increases the tension, almost pushing the silicone further towards the visor, closing that gap. The only thing is, after a while, when the silicone's gone, and you will need to replace your Pinlock visor. And I would recommend, for those that are daily riding, commuting, things like that, you're probably going to get 6 months to 8 months of use out of it. Instructors, couriers, those kind of riders, you're going to get 4 to 6 months out of it, depending on the weather and the conditions that you're riding in. But generally speaking, it's something that we very, very much recommend, because it's that extra level of visibility that's always there. Branded Pinlocks, they will generally have a number next to them, 120, 90, 120 I think is the standard now, and that refers to the amount of time, roughly, on average, that it will take while stationary and no airflow is passing through the helmet before it will start fogging. So generally speaking, you're not going to be at a traffic light with your visor shut for anything more than a minute or so, and in that time you're probably going to be fine. But if you're for a prolonged stationary period of time, it's not designed to be that efficient and that great. It would be probably a lot more costly if it was, and as such they've given it a time limit of roughly 120 seconds, so 2 minutes ish. And so that's that. So, but in day-to-day riding and in everyday life, I don't think it's really going to be an issue, because you're not going to leave your helmet on and sat in a pub or anything else like that. You're going to be riding, and if you do find it does start to fog up again, just give the visor a little crack, the airflow will clear the mist, we'll pop it back closed again and you're good to go. So yeah, Pinlock Visor, definitely worth having and looking for in a new helmet when you're looking for a new helmet.